This is the Jack Murphy Podcast. Here's your host, Jack Murphy.
Happy Memorial Day weekend, everybody. I saw an interview with Victor David Hanson, the historian, a couple of days ago, and he was talking about college graduates and how different they are today than they were in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. He said that back then you could count on college graduates to know some things like the Pythagorean theorem, and he had a whole list of things and historical events that had happened and why they started and what happened. And he goes, today I talk to them and they don't know any of that stuff. He said they're so caught up in DEI and justice and blah, 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 that they really didn't get an education. And I think a lot of people in America, by no fault of their own, haven't been really educated as to what Memorial Day is all about. Memorial Day is not for people who served in the military. That's Veterans Day. It's not even for people that were wounded while serving in the military. We celebrate them on Veterans Day as well with special honor. Memorial Day is about those who died serving our country to keep us free. In about 1987, I moved out to San Diego, California from New York to take a job at a radio station. I didn't know a soul in California or San Diego. I had a very high-stress job, and I would get lonely and depressed sometimes, and I would get in my car and drive around San Diego because it was beautiful. And you could drive around and see all these beautiful scenes, and it would cheer me up a little bit. And one day I found myself up at the top of a place called Point Loma, which is a big point that juts out from the bay, and it's several hundred feet up in the air. It's almost like a mini mountain or ridge. And you get on the road up there, and you look to the left, and you see downtown San Diego, Mission Bay, and the big, beautiful San Diego Bay and the Sixth Fleet. And on the right side, it's the big, beautiful blue Pacific Ocean as far as you can see. And to your left and right, there are, I don't know how many, but there must be hundreds of thousands of white marble crosses. And these are all people who served and lost their life serving our country. And it's one of many such places around the world where our heroes are buried. You know, of course, there's Arlington in Washington, D.C., and all over Europe there's white marble markers where our heroes are buried. But that one in San Diego was special to me because I don't know. I could drive up there when I was having a bad day, and it just calmed me, and it was quiet, and the ocean breeze was coming, and I would think about my dad, who sailed out of San Diego Bay on the way to Tokyo in World War II, and I was thankful that he made it home. But this is what Memorial Day is about, and I hope everybody will take some time to tell your children that over the weekend, and on Monday, stop for a minute and think about those who died. And I want to today honor somebody from my hometown. Now, I grew up with this guy. We went to junior high school. We weren't close friends. His mom worked for my dad for a while, and there was something tragic that happened in their family. I won't go into that, but he was offered a choice, and he went into the military, into the Army. And I think he channeled that anger and rage he had into focusing on his job in the Army. And he became a chief warrant officer. Now, I don't know if you know what a chief warrant officer is, but they're badass. If you're on the ground and you're in trouble and you hear there's a chopper on the way with chief warrant officers, that's good news. And they can, depending on the branch of the service, they may actually fly the helicopter. They might be in charge of working on the helicopter wherever it is, out in the middle of the desert or in a jungle. They can get it going again. But they're kind of the liaison between the officers and the men, but they're badasses. And I have a couple of pictures of the guy I'm talking about. And picture of him probably maybe after high school, and then a picture, and I'm told it's one of the last pictures of him beside one of the helicopters, the kind that he flew on. And he died, I think, in Iraq on board one of these helicopters. And I just want to put these pictures up and honor him, and hope you will take a minute to honor him and all like him who made the ultimate sacrifice for our country on this Memorial Day. Thank you.